Alright, today's lesson is on different types of solutions. So we're still going to be solving equations. We're just going to be adding on to what we did yesterday. So again, hopefully yesterday cleared up some things about solving equations. It still seems like a couple of you had problems with the assignment where it said to show your work. A lot of students, again, still just put an answer in the blank. So make sure that you go back in, check that. Make sure that you're getting a good grade by following all the instructions. Today we're going to be looking at the different types of solutions. So first and foremost, there are three different types of solutions. There's where you just get one solution, so therefore you get x equals something. So let's say that we solve the problem when we get x equals 5. This is one solution. We have one answer that works, x equals 5, or x equals -2. Or x could even equal 0. That is a number. That is a possible solution. That's when we only have one answer that works. Today we're going to look at two other types of solutions where we have no solution that works, which means no answer. We can pick any number in the world and it will not work. And then we have infinite many solutions where every single answer works. So this one is you have no answer that works. This one is you have every answer that works, okay? This one can be called two different things. It's either infinite many solutions or all real numbers. The book typically calls it infinite many solutions in this book, so that's what we're going to look at today. As we're going through this, I'm going to solve a couple different equations and show you the difference between when we get an answer and when it will be one of these two answers. For one solution, you'll end up with an x equals a number. For these two solutions, you're not going to have any more x's. There will be no x or no variable. Those will wind up canceling out, and you'll get just left with two numbers. For instance, no solution, you'll get left with something like 5 equals -2. 5 does not equal -2, so therefore that's why this is no solution, because you're going to end up with two numbers that don't equal each other, as opposed to infinite many solutions where you are going to end up with a number that equals itself. So you'll end up with a number like 5 equals 5, which yes, 5 does equal 5, therefore any number I pick is going to be a solution. So that's how we can tell the difference. So again, make sure that you have these in your notes as your different types of solutions. Again, you're not submitting notes today, but the very first question on your assignment is going to ask you, what are the three different types of solutions we have, and how do you tell the difference between each of them? So you'll want to state, we have one solution where you have x with a number. You have no solution where you have no more x's and the two numbers that are left do not equal each other. And then you have infinite many solutions where you have no x's left, but the two numbers that are left over do equal each other. Okay? All right, now let's look at a couple of these practice problems. So these first two practice problems are actually going to be one solution. So if I go through and solve these again like I did yesterday, I want to show each step. So again, how do I show each step? Well, I want to take these two x's and I want to get them together. So I'm going to move this smaller one over here. It's a positive, which means I'm going to subtract it. Once I subtract it, I get a new problem. 5 minus 2 is 3x minus 3, because I haven't done anything with that. And then over here, 2x minus 2x cancels out, and so I end up with a 6. Right here, I'm going to move this 3 over here so that x is all by itself. So I'm going to add 3. I'm going to add 3 to this side. So I'm going to end up with a 3x equals, and then on this side, I'm going to end up with a 9. My last and final step is I'm going to divide by 3 and divide by 3. So in this case, I'm going to end up with an x because these two the numbers cancel out, but this x is still there. And on this side, 9 divided by 3 is going to equal 3. So again, notice we end up with x equals 3. This tells me my one solution. The only number that will work in this problem is a 3. That's why this is a one solution type problem. Okay, let's look at this one. Again, I want my x to be by itself, so I need to move anything that's not this x, which would mean this 4. So I'm going to move the 4 over here. It is a positive 4, which means I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides. Notice when I subtract 4, I end up with 2x on this side, because 4 minus 4 is 0. On this side, 4 minus 4 is 0. A lot of times students want to stop right here and say, no solution. We don't want to stop right here. We still have an x, which means we still want to do our last step, which is divide. So I'm going to divide by 2. I'm going to divide by 2. And in this case, I still have an x here because that x did not go away. But over here, 0 divided by 2 is 0. Again, a lot of students get confused and think, if I end up with a 0, my answer has to be no solution. That is not true. 0 is a number. 0 is just like 3. It's just like -7. It's just like 100. 0 can be a possible answer. Okay? So notice both of these are one solutions. I end up with x equals 3. X equals 0. Those are the two one solutions that I've had. So now let's try a couple that aren't one solutions. So let's pull this one up here. And we'll start with this one. Okay, so on this one, we have, we have some like terms here. So let's go ahead and combine like terms. So we have a 3x and a negative 12x, which is going to be a negative 9x. And on this side, we have a 24 and a negative 9x. Right away, we should kind of notice, I have a negative 9x on this side and a negative 9x on that side. So I'm kind of seeing a pattern of these are the same. So if I move on to the other, it's going to make it the opposite, which is a positive 9x. But if I add that same positive 9x to this side, what happens with these is they cancel each other out. Negative 9x plus 9 more x's is a 0. Not a 0x. I mean, we can put 0x, but it's still just 0. There's 0 x's there. Negative 9x plus 9x is 0. So I have a 24. So again, notice this is the difference between the last problem and this problem. The last problem, I ended with an x on this side and a 0 on this side. So I still had an x. Here, I do not have any x's. I have 0 equals 24. 0 does not equal 24. Therefore, this is no solution. I'm not going to write out the whole word. I'm just going to abbreviate. So my answer here, a lot of students want to put this as my answer, 0 equals 24. This is what my final solution ended as, but my actual answer to this problem is no solution. When we do this on the homework, it will tell you that you can just write a capital N and a capital S as your answer instead of having to spell out the whole word. Because on Schoology, if you misspell it, it will mark it wrong. And I don't want anyone to get this question wrong just by misspelling it. Same thing with infinite many solutions. So I'm going to let you abbreviate it. And for no solution, you can put INS. And for infinite solutions, you can put IS. So again, that way you can abbreviate these. Obviously, if this was your answer, if your answer up here was x equals 3, then you just have to type in 3 in the blank. All right, let's look at another one. So that was our answer if it was no solution. Let's look at this one and see what we come up with here. Okay, so again, I have some parentheses. So my first step is going to multiply through these parentheses. 4 times 2 is 8. And then there's an x there, so we're going to put 8x. 4 times negative 3 is a negative 12. And then plus 4 equals, and then we have on the side 8x minus 8. All right, so we have this. So let's look at what we need to do next. We have some like terms right here, so let's combine these like terms. I haven't used the 8x, so I'm going to bring it down. Negative 12 plus 4 is going to be a negative 8. Right here, as we rewrite the rest of our equation, we notice that we have the exact same equation. This should already tell us that things are going to be matching up, and it's probably going to be infinite solutions. But again, let's continue just to make sure. I'm going to move this 8x over here by subtracting. Move this 8x over here by subtracting. Again, we want to show all of our steps. So even though we know that this is probably going to be infinite solutions, we want to keep going. So I'll cross these out because 8 minus 8 is 0. 8 minus 8 is 0. So I'm going to bring down my negative 8 on this side and my negative 8 on this side. Now I notice negative 8 equals negative 8. There are no x's, so we know that it's not a one solution. These two numbers are equal, which means it is an infinite solution. That means I can pick any number and it be correct. But we can't just pick one number. We have to show that it's every number. So in our answer, we will write that it is infinite many solutions. Again, if we misspell this on Schoology, it will mark it wrong. So that's why instead of writing infinite many solutions, we can just write IS. And again, I state that in the instructions on the assignment, so hopefully you won't mess that up, okay? All right, I think I have one more. There we go. All right, our last one up here. Again, we'll see if it's a solution or if it's infinite many or if it's no solution. All right, so we're going to multiply through again. 2 times x is 2x. 2 times 7 is 14. 6 and negative 4 are like terms, so we can combine those and we can get a 2x plus 9. Again, right now we should notice, okay, well, they're not the same, but the x's are the same. So they're probably going to cancel out, but again, let's just double check. So I'm going to move this 2 over here. It's being positive, so that means we'll subtract it to make it a negative. So then here, these two cancel out, and I end up with 14 equals 9. All right, so 14 equals 9. 14 does not equal 9. If I was getting paid and someone got $14 and someone got $9 and they said, no worries, it's equal, that would not be equal. Therefore, this would be no solution. Again, if the two numbers are the same, so if this was 9 equals 9, then it would be infinite solutions. Because it's 14 equals 9, it's no solution. And if it somehow ended up as x equals 9, then that means my actual answer is x equals 9. These are your 3 different types of equations. Again, you are going to be completing the assignment. And in the assignment, you will have fill in the blank questions. You will have questions where you have to show all of your work. Again, showing all of your work just like I did, step by step. If you just write the answer as IS, you will receive 1 of 5 points or 1 of 4 points on this assignment, which again means it's not a passing grade. 1 out of 4 means that you are getting a 20%. Okay? Good luck.